Imagine society as a grand orchestra, a stage filled with musicians, each ready to play their part. The orchestra, with its myriad of instruments, mirrors the intricate web of human interaction. Each individual contributes their unique voice, experiences, and skills to the collective whole, intertwining their lives in a symphony of human interaction. Like an orchestra, society thrives on diversity, each person playing a vital role in shaping the overall harmony. Leaders, supporters, innovators, and caretakers all contribute to this shared existence. Our talents and passions are the instruments we bring to the performance, crafting the music of society. Clear your preconceptions of the world and imagine yourself walking through a city where every step taken by those around you creates a different note in the symphony of human existence. This is not far from the truth. On one side, luxury boutiques display glittering watches and designer handbags, symbols of prestige, wealth, and high status. Just a block away, tents line the sidewalks, occupied by people struggling to secure life's essentials. This stark contrast is more than economic inequality. It is the composition of society, a layered melody where some voices dominate the concert hall and others whisper in the background. Society itself is an orchestra, with each individual playing a distinct role. Some rise in brilliant crescendos, shaping culture, policy, and innovation. Others resonate in lower tones, weaving tight-knit communities, personal relationships, and intimate moments of change. Every person is a note, every movement a sound that influences the harmony or dissonance of social life. Sociology is the study of the patterns and structures that make society function. Much like a conductor analyzing an orchestra, sociologists decode the roles, interactions, and power structures that shape human behavior. This intricate arrangement forms the foundation of sociology, the study of human society, behavior, and the structures that define our interactions. To fully grasp its complexity, we must first explore its core elements. Group topic: understanding sociology. Subtopics: social structure, the underlying framework that organizes relationships and roles within society, akin to the structured sections of an orchestra, ensuring each part functions cohesively. Culture: the shared beliefs, values, and practices that shape human interactions, just as musical traditions define the rhythm and style of a performance. Beginner's mind: the ability to approach the world without preconceptions, seeing it anew, much like an open-minded listener experiencing a new symphony for the first time. Purpose: to introduce sociology as a field of study, explore its relevance to everyday life, and emphasize how adopting a beginner's mind enhances sociological inquiry, just as musicians must stay adaptable to the changing rhythm of their collective sound. Truman Burbank lives in a manufactured reality, unknowingly starring in a TV show that broadcasts his life. As he starts questioning his reality, noticing inconsistencies, and seeing the world with fresh eyes, he embodies the beginner's mind. Sociologist Bernard McGrain's concept of beginner's mind urges individuals to let go of assumptions to truly understand society, much like Truman's realization of the artificial world around him. Guiding questions: what is sociology and why is it important? How does social structure shape human interactions? Why is a beginner's mind essential in sociological thinking? Like an orchestra, society is composed of diverse individuals. This diversity is our strength, bringing a richness and depth to our collective existence. Each person contributes their skills and experiences to the collective whole. We learn from one another, grow together, and create something greater than the sum of our parts. We have our roles to play. Just as musicians prepare for a concert, we prepare for our roles in society, honing our skills and understanding our responsibilities. We have our parts to perform, whether as leaders, supporters, innovators, or caretakers. Each role is vital to the harmony of the whole. We have our instruments to master, our talents, passions, our vocations. These are the instruments we bring to the symphony of society. Group topic: how society stays in tune. Subtopics include social structure, the framework of relationships and roles within society, much like the distinct sections of an orchestra ensuring harmony. Norms and institutions, the unwritten rules and established systems that guide human interaction, like sheet music ensuring musicians stay in sync. And hierarchy and power, the structure that determines influence, similar to how a conductor leads an ensemble. The purpose here is to explore how societal structure governs behavior, enforces order, and influences opportunities, just as musical composition dictates the flow of a performance. In Whiplash, an ambitious drummer navigates the relentless pressures of mastery under an authoritarian conductor who pushes musicians beyond their limits. The film exemplifies how hierarchy and power shape individual behavior, mirroring real-world societal institutions. Whiplash highlights symbolic interactionism, showing how power structures influence behavior and expectations. The relationship between the conductor and musicians reflects the pressure of societal roles, reinforcing social control dynamics. Guiding questions. How does hierarchy and power influence behavior? What role do norms and institutions play in society? And how does social structure shape human interaction? Bong Joon-ho's Parasite masterfully exposes the rigid social structure that dictates human interactions, much like an orchestra where each section plays a predetermined role to maintain harmony. The wealthy Park family enjoys privilege and comfort, occupying the prestigious first-chair positions in society, while the struggling Kim family fights for survival in the neglected, muffled corners of the ensemble. Their worlds collide in a dramatic crescendo, revealing the unsettling reality that social mobility is often an illusion rather than an opportunity. At the heart of the film lies the power of norms and institutions, the invisible forces shaping behavior, much like sheet music ensuring musicians stay in sync. The Parks abide by unspoken rules of wealth, refined tastes, courteous interactions, and an unquestioned reliance on hired help. In contrast, the Kims must navigate the precarious dance of deception, bending norms to infiltrate a world otherwise inaccessible to them. Their orchestrated manipulation of roles, from a tutor to a chauffeur, mirrors a performance where each act must be executed flawlessly to avoid discord. Yet beneath this structured facade, the undeniable force of hierarchy and power emerges. The Parks, akin to a conductor, wield influence without realizing the weight of their baton. Their slightest whims shape the lives of those beneath them, much like the casual remark about an unwanted odor, a subtle yet scathing reminder of class distinction. The Kims, despite their ingenuity, remain at the mercy of the elite's decisions, proving that in this orchestrated society, only a few can truly lead while the rest must follow. As the film builds toward its tragic climax, Parasite dismantles the illusion of coexistence between classes, revealing the deeply ingrained inequalities that govern society. Like an orchestra, where some instruments dominate the sound while others remain background fillers, social hierarchy ensures that power is not evenly distributed. It is conducted. And as the final act unfolds, the dissonance between privilege and desperation crescendos into chaos, leaving behind a haunting refrain that lingers long after the music fades. Guiding questions. How does social structure shape human interactions? What role do norms and institutions play in maintaining order? How does hierarchy create divisions in society? All of this comes together to create the music of our shared existence. The beauty lies in the synchronization, the unity, the collective effort. The beauty of the orchestra lies in its intricate harmony. Each section, each musician, plays their part with precision and passion. Different sections, strings, brass, woodwinds, percussion, blend together. They create a rich and dynamic soundscape, much like the diverse elements of society. How do we learn the rules of society? Norms are unwritten expectations that dictate social behavior, ensuring order and predictability. Socialization is the lifelong process of learning these norms, roles, and behaviors from institutions such as family, schools, and media. In the menu, Margot operates outside the established norms of the restaurant, refusing to conform to ritualized behaviors and questioning Slowik's authority. Her actions represent deviance, a term used in sociology to describe behaviors that violate social expectations. Initially, Margot's nonconformity is subtle. She refuses to engage in exaggerated food appreciation, demonstrating a personal misalignment with the group's expectations. As tensions escalate, her open defiance transforms into a direct challenge to institutional power, confronting Slowik and rejecting his rigid social hierarchy. The staff and diners attempt to enforce conformity through sanctions, such as disapproval, exclusion, and intimidation. However, Margot resists these pressures, exposing the fragility of the institution's authority. Margot's rebellion is not just about rejecting a meal, it symbolizes a broader critique of power dynamics within elite institutions. Her refusal to comply mirrors real-world acts of resistance against rigid class structures, privilege, and systemic control. Functionalism perspective. Slowik's restaurant maintains social order through strict behavioral expectations, ensuring exclusivity. Margot disrupts this structure, challenging the necessity of imposed hierarchy. Conflict theory perspective. Her resistance highlights the power imbalance between those who serve and those who consume, ultimately questioning the legitimacy of the institution itself. Symbolic interactionism perspective. Margot redefines her social role through her actions, creating a new meaning around participation in the elite space, rejecting admiration and embracing autonomy. Margot's behavior showcases how socialization can be resisted, proving that norms are not absolute but rather negotiated and contested. Just as an orchestra can fall into chaos when a musician plays an unexpected tune, Margot's defiance disrupts the harmony of institutional control. Which sociological perspective focuses on how individuals create meaning through interactions? Functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism, structuralism. Every musical piece follows a score, guiding musicians in their performance. Similarly, society operates within a framework of social structure and culture, orchestrating behaviors, interactions, and opportunities. Social structures such as class, race, gender, and age compose a web of relationships and power dynamics, shaping human experiences. Institutions like families, schools, and governments act as key sections within this symphony, influencing values and reinforcing societal expectations. Culture, in turn, serves as the music passed down through generations, shaping language, art, food, and traditions. It provides identity and belonging, guiding social behaviors much like rhythm defines the pacing of a composition. Together, social structure and culture create the foundation of society, influencing how we navigate and understand the world. Group topic: how we internalize social expectations. Socialization is the lifelong process of learning cultural norms and behaviors, much like musicians refining their craft through repetition and guidance. Institutions like families, schools, and media serve as instructors, shaping societal expectations and reinforcing norms. Barbie, 2023. The film captures Barbie's transition from the structured doll world to the unpredictable human world. It highlights how society socializes individuals into gender roles and expectations, illustrating the tension between personal identity and imposed norms. The purpose is to explore how individuals learn cultural norms and expectations through societal institutions, much like musicians mastering the technicalities of performance. How do sociologists study society? Well, let's dive into the fascinating world of research methods. These are the techniques sociologists use to analyze human behavior, much like a composer dissecting the layers of a musical arrangement. They employ various methods such as surveys and ethnography to collect data, mirroring the careful notation of rhythms and patterns. Experiments and observations are also crucial, as they help sociologists understand how norms and behaviors evolve, much like musicians experimenting with sound and composition. And then there's the distinction between quantitative and qualitative research structure, data-driven approaches versus observational interpretations, paralleling the contrast between classical and improvisational music styles. Here are some guiding questions to consider. What are the key sociological research methods? What are the differences between quantitative and qualitative research? And how do sociologists ensure ethical research practices? Every society, much like a musical composition, evolves through tradition and innovation. Socialization teaches individuals their roles, ensuring continuity, while research allows sociologists to dissect and interpret the patterns of human interaction. Culture and structure provide the framework, but it is through inquiry, adaptation, and transformation that the symphony of society truly comes to life. Every musical composition follows a carefully crafted score, guiding musicians through their performance. Similarly, society operates within a framework of social structure and culture, shaping interactions, expectations, and opportunities. Just as different instruments in an orchestra have distinct sounds, class, race, gender, and age define the roles individuals play within the social system, families, communities, and institutions provide the foundation for this symphony, ensuring cohesion while reinforcing hierarchy. However, just as musical traditions shape the way compositions are structured, culture serves as the rhythm of society, passed down through generations, influencing language, art, food, and values. Culture provides identity and belonging, acting as a guide for expected behaviors, much like sheet music directs musicians in their performance. Group topic: how we internalize social expectations. Socialization, the lifelong process of learning cultural norms and behaviors, much like musicians refining their skills through practice. Institutions and influence schools, families, media, and peers function as conductors, directing individuals through their socialization process. Barbie's Journey in Barbie, released in 2023, serves as a vibrant exploration of how society socializes individuals into gender roles, shaping identity and self-perception. In Barbie Land, norms are rigidly enforced. Every doll has a designated role, ensuring an idealized, harmonious world. However, when Barbie enters the real world, she encounters deviance, as human behavior does not adhere to the structured perfection of her former reality. Much like an improvisational piece disrupting a traditional performance, her inability to fit neatly into societal expectations challenges her understanding of what it means to be herself. Her experiences reveal that stepping outside the prescribed norms can be unsettling but necessary for personal growth. Throughout the film, Barbie also faces sanctions, the social consequences that reinforce conformity. Some individuals praise her for embracing individuality, while others criticize her for not adhering to conventional gender expectations. These reactions highlight how both approval and disapproval function as tools for enforcing societal norms, guiding individuals toward accepted behaviors. Barbie must navigate these responses, deciding whether to conform or redefine her own sense of self. Like musicians adjusting to audience feedback during a performance, she learns that self-expression often comes at a cost, requiring resilience to withstand external pressures. Ultimately, Barbie's story underscores the presence of social control, the mechanisms that maintain order and ensure individuals follow society's expected rhythms. Whether through media, tradition, or interpersonal interactions, subtle yet powerful forces push people toward conformity, reinforcing established roles. However, Barbie's transformation signifies a resistance to these constraints, illustrating that identity is fluid rather than predetermined. Just as a melody can evolve into unexpected harmonies, her journey suggests that true self-discovery lies in embracing change rather than rigidly adhering to societal expectations. Society's influence on behavior. Deviance, behavior that strays from established social norms, much like an improvisational piece disrupting a traditional performance. Sanctions, social consequences that reinforce conformity, whether through praise or punishment. Social control, mechanisms that maintain order, ensuring that individuals follow society's expected rhythms. Guiding questions. What defines deviant behavior? How do sanctions enforce norms in society? How does social control maintain order? In every symphony, moments arise where performers break from convention, introducing new interpretations, disrupting established rhythms, or pushing boundaries. Society functions in much the same way. While social structure and culture provide a foundation for stability, deviance and social control ensure that traditions are both challenged and reinforced. By understanding the interplay between socialization, cultural expectations and societal discipline, individuals can appreciate the evolving nature of human interaction, recognizing when to follow the score and when to create something entirely new. Every society, like a symphony, consists of distinct sections that harmonize to create an intricate composition. Socialization, institutions, and power dynamics form the foundation of this arrangement, influencing behavior, identity, and interactions. However, just as musicians refine their craft to fit within an orchestra, individuals must learn their roles within society, whether through adaptation, resistance, or transformation. Group topic: how we internalize social expectations. Socialization is the lifelong process of learning societal norms, akin to a musician mastering their instrument over time. Roles are the behaviors associated with different societal positions, like performers playing their designated parts within a grand ensemble. Role strain is the difficulty of balancing expectations, mirroring the tension between musical sections competing for dominance. Barbie, 2023. A satirical critique of gender roles, illustrating how individuals are expected to play predefined notes rather than create their own music. This highlights how society socializes individuals into rigid expectations, shaping identity and reinforcing traditional norms. Triangle of Sadness, released in 2022, presents a compelling reversal of hierarchy on a deserted island. This film vividly demonstrates role conflict as traditional roles shift when survival dictates a new power structure. Let's dive into the function of authority in society. Institutions are the social structures that guide human interactions, much like sections of an orchestra contributing to the greater sound. From a functionalist perspective, institutions act as mechanisms of stability, ensuring cohesion and continuity. Conflict theory, on the other hand, examines power struggles within institutions, revealing disparities in influence and control. And then there's symbolic interactionism, a theory that explores meaning through human interactions, much like the subtle interplay of musicians shaping the overall harmony. Joker from 2019 is a powerful exploration of institutional failure, showing how neglected individuals fall out of society's structured rhythm. This film examines the role institutions play in shaping human experiences, particularly when systemic neglect leads to marginalization. Guiding questions. How do institutions maintain stability within society? How do power struggles define social structures? And how do individual interactions contribute to evolving societal meanings? Group topic: the dynamic nature of society. Subtopics: social movements, activism shaping society's melody, much like composers rewriting musical compositions to reflect contemporary values. Media influence: the role of technology in shaping perception, much like sound design, alters the way an orchestra is heard. Bureaucracy and power: how hierarchies determine influence, mirroring the rigid structure of classical compositions and the challenges of breaking free from tradition. The Hunger Games series, a dystopian reflection on rebellion, oppression, and the fight to rewrite society's melody. It demonstrates how social movements challenge existing structures, advocating for systemic change. Guiding questions. How do social movements impact societal evolution? What role does media play in shaping cultural understanding? How does power influence the ability to challenge or change institutions? Society is a composition, one that is constantly rearranging itself through technological advancements, cultural evolution, and human resistance. No single individual can control the symphony, but every person plays a role in shaping the final sound. Sociology challenges us not just to hear the rhythm, but to recognize the power of our own note within it. The significance of the Mockingjay symbol. It shows how shared symbols unite social movements and inspire collective action. This is part 1. Please see part 2 for the rest of the course. Remember, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. Let's continue to explore the intricate symphony of society